Hi, my name is Benjamin Janonovich, and this is going to be an informative speech as to how to establish dominance with your dog or puppy. The reason I decided to give you a speech on this is my family and I recently purchased a miniature pinscher as a puppy, and they are known as the king of a small breed of dogs, and it was very hard to raise them to be obedient and for us to establish dominance over our house and certain objects, so I figured it's good to educate people as far as what to do. So there are going to be three main points that I'm going to cover. One is going to be what exactly do I mean when I say dominance and obedience. The second is how to establish dominance in the area. And the third is how to maintain it. And the third is the most important and the one you're going to have to do research for. So for the first point, what exactly do I mean when I say obedience and dominance? So obedience is the ability of your dog to listen to you and respond to your commands when you order it to do something. And dominance is basically establishing an agreement with your dog or puppy that the territory he is in he or she is yours and yours only. He has a right to be there, but it is yours, and he cannot do what he wants in that territory. Now that you can establish both of those terms, obedience and dominance, without using any harsh or violent, harmful techniques. Now that we've covered that point, we will move on to how to establish your dominance with your dog or puppy. This will have to start with feeding. So when you're feeding your dog or puppy, be sure to sit in the area that you are feeding him. Make sure that when he is eating, you give him the food. You don't just put it there and leave. You watch him eat for the first week or two that he's inside your house or in the new area. And you can always set up a physical barrier between him and the food. And make sure the dog gives you eye contact before you remove it so he understands that you are in control of giving him food. When it's playtime, when a dog grabs a chew toy, as we know that dogs like to chew on things and eat them up, all you simply have to do is place a physical barrier between the dog and the object and assert that you are in control of the dog playing with that object and the dog taking and leaving with that object. For example, what I do with my dog is I put him in an area where he plays, and he cannot leave that area while he plays. If he does, he gets the toy taken away from him, and he understands that when he wants to play, he goes to that area, I present him with the toy, and he stays in that area, rather than walking around the house and making a mess. As far as keeping the dog away from chewing up an item that he is not supposed to chew up, you have to establish a physical barrier, because dogs think physically. It is in their genes to understand that when somebody asserts themselves with something, that is theirs, and unless they want to put up a fight for it, they are not going to get it. So what I like to do with my dog, even though it is a small breed dog, whatever I do not want him to chew up or grab, I put underneath my stomach, and I get on all fours and I stand in front of him and wait for him to bow down, submit, or walk away and lose interest in that item, and that way he does not try to take it back when I'm not there. The same goes for physical rooms. He does not come onto my bed unless I call him up to, and that took almost a week of training. But simply all you have to do is sit at the edge of your bed, and whenever he tries to come up, simply put your hand down and say no, and don't let him. He will recognize the command no with him not being able to come up, and then eventually just the command is going to be enough to keep him off the bed, and it was. He still does that. When you're taking him on walks, it is a dog's nature to be curious and to sniff around, sense of other dogs and other things that he finds on the floor. So what you want to do is establish a heel position, which should be next to you when you are walking. One side of your body you should choose and keep it consistent. Make sure to keep your dog on a routine as far as what to do. This way he will become obedient with commands, because you do not teach a dog a command. You do not teach a dog one command every day, rather a command every week or two, until he gets it into his routine when he understands what to do. Say when you're walking, you simply just a tight, snug pull on the leash to let him feel the pullback, and that should be enough for him to realize that you do not want him going there, and he should return to the heel position after a few weeks of training. Now that I've covered what exactly dominance and obedience means and how to establish dominance and obedience by routines, I'm going to tell you how to maintain it, and this part requires a bit of research on your part for your dog breed, because every dog is different. Miniature pinscher likes to, as he grows older, becomes more aggressive and becomes more territorial. So it is necessary for me to keep that obedience and dominance up to date. So every time I feed him, I sit next to him and wait, place my hand between him and the bowl, remove it when I want him to eat, and place it down, and he knows eating time is done. After I place my hand back down, he moves away, and that's it. As far as my bed comes, when he comes onto it, he knows that once I say no or down, he will get off. And again, that came with weeks and weeks of training. So basically, you have to establish a routine and make sure the dog is up to date with that routine. Keep at it. It requires a lot of patience. In conclusion, I've reviewed how to establish dominance with your dog. I've given you a brief definition as far as what obedience and dominance is, how to establish dominance and obedience with your dog, and how to keep it going. So you want to make sure that the dog understands he is entering your space, and your space, not his. I hope that these tips will help you have an obedient dog and establish dominance with your dog. Thank you.